If you guys followed my previous video, you'll know by now that a movie-themed DLC is very likely in Grand Theft Auto Online, with the discovery of a movie set NPC placed right across the street from Record A Studios, all the references in the newly added adversary mode, the Vespucci Job remix, how there's references to movies like Fast and Furious, Gone in 60 Seconds, Baby Driver, James Bond, and a whole lot more. Well, today I'm going to be talking about the things that are pretty much a guaranteed are going to be arriving in this update. Even though we don't know really a thing about it, we can tell based off of the theme and what Rockstar has successfully done in the past, ultimately what they're going to do. So let's go ahead and dive into it today. And obviously, I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. The first thing that I think we can guarantee to see is more short trip missions. And the reason I say this is, number one, not only were they successfully popular back when the Contract DLC arrived, and I think Rockstar is fully aware of that, based on the fact that they actually removed the requirement to complete the Dr. Dre VIP contract in order to unlock them. But also, number two, it's very likely that with the arrival of this movie DLC, we are going to have involvement from Michael DeSanta. And we know that Michael DeSanta is not only alive, but he's also currently still producing movies at Solomon Richards' Majestic Studio. And on top of all of that, the recent NPC that can actually be found in-game actually spawns right across the street from Record A Studios, where the short trip missions begin. So instead of playing as Franklin and Lamar, we could very easily play as Michael and Jimmy, or Michael and Tracy, or Michael and Amanda. And this allows us to get more backstory on the characters, and it sort of functions as a single-player DLC while still partaking in Grand Theft Auto Online. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. So I can almost guarantee you that the short trip missions are going to come back and that they're going to involve Michael DeSanta. And it kind of works out because in story mode, you guys might remember that Michael DeSanta kind of went on his own short trips. Remember, he did those Stranger and Freak missions where he ended up having those hallucinations and fending off clowns and aliens. So Michael is no stranger to dabbling in some of the things that require the short trips to happen. So that's the first thing I think we can all expect to arrive. The next thing I believe we can all expect to arrive, obviously new vehicles, but I think a ton of these new vehicles are going to have direct movie references. In fact, a lot of them might have their trade prices unlocked by participating in various films, if you can see my air quote, where the vehicle might be used. Like, for example, at the beginning of this video, I told you that Rockstar utilized a lot of film and movie references for the Vespucci Job remix adversary mode, like Baby Driver, Gone in 60 Seconds, James Bond, Fast and Furious. There's so many iconic cars and so many iconic scenes from these films and movies that Rockstar could reference, and I expect to see a lot of that. Now, I expect that Rockstar will use these vehicles in the missions alongside exclusive liveries. They might even bring direct vehicles and vehicle types from certain movies and certain scenes and implement them into the game. I can guarantee you that is going to be the case. We already saw Rockstar do this to a degree with the Los Santos Tuners update, how we can see specific movie cars not only featured in the vehicles that we can own, but also the ones that you just see roaming around the Los Santos car meet. So it would be absolutely no surprise if Rockstar did more of that in Grand Theft Auto Online with this movie update. The next thing that I could see Rockstar doing is introducing mansions. I know we've had this conversation a lot in the past, but Rockstar really needs to utilize the beautiful Vinewood Hills homes, houses, mansions, villas, all these crazy places that our characters could live. It's been a minute since Rockstar have truly introduced a residential property into the game that we can just live at and maybe have some degree of customization. And I feel like a movie DLC would be the perfect time. Now, why do I say that? Well, a lot of obviously movie stars are going to make a ton of money, and a lot of real-life movie stars do live in the Hollywood Hills and in these beautiful Los Angeles mansions, which is clearly a parody of where our characters take place, in Vinewood and in Los Santos. So it's about time that they open up some of these big mansions, and they don't even have to be necessarily exclusive to the ones in the hills. They could be beach houses, or they could be some of these mountain houses. That would be a welcome addition to the game. And now it would finally make sense because we're going to be dealing with movies, we're going to be dealing with movie stars, and they live in these kind of houses. So Rockstar, add something like that. That would be a really welcome addition to the game. Now, alongside some of the other properties that we could end up getting here, whether that be something across the street from Record A Studios or a new mansion, something along those lines, I could also see Rockstar doing a very gimmicky property, but could somehow tie it into the fact that it involves the missions. Kind of think the Music Locker, which I honestly haven't been to since day one of the Cayo Perico Heist DLC, but maybe they make it some sort of like movie viewing venue. Now, I know they already have this, but the way they could circumvent not just going to the movie theater is maybe these would be unreleased movies or movies that you helped work on, like you would get a master copy, then you could view them, which obviously would not be available to the general public. Like, I could totally see them doing that, and maybe that would serve as some other form of vessel for Easter eggs and Office references, something along those lines, as you guys can see in sort of the footage here. I'm driving around Richards Majestic, and you can see some of like the billboard advertisements for the movies that his studio is creating and whatnot. Now, another thing that you can also see in this footage is there's also a Richards Majestic apartment complex. And I don't know if Rockstar would utilize that in some way, shape, or form, or if there's going to be some other major map transition a la the Diamond Casino and Resort. I think that's a big possibility, too, that the world is going to be brought into 2022 Grand Theft Auto Online, because there's bits and pieces of it right now that have moved to current day 2022. But there's also bits and pieces of it that are still very much stuck in 2013 when Grand Theft Auto Online was set before the events of story mode. And then there's a handful of other obvious things that, of course, Rockstar are going to add. There's going to be more clothing. There's going to be more accessories that we get. There's going to be quality of life changes, patch updates, and features that Rockstar introduce. But I also think that there's going to be a couple of other surprises and secrets here. As you guys know, there's reports of a new treasure hunt that's been added into the game in pieces, and this one would ultimately be returning to Cayo Perico using the likes of a metal detector. So I really feel like there could be a lot of cool stuff that Rockstar could introduce here. But anyways, that's really all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. I'd love to hear from you in those comments down below or on my Facebook page. If Rockstar does introduce a movie studio DLC in Grand Theft Auto Online, what are the guaranteed features that you think are going to arrive? Again, let me know what you're thinking about that. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.